have to mention this is my first video, so please excuse me for any awkwardness or any mistakes that I might make throughout the video. So today I'm going to be talking about my top 10 favorite books. These books aren't in any specific order, and you might notice that the genres I've chosen are quite limited, and that's because I've only just begun expanding the types of books that I read. So yeah, hope you enjoy the video. The first book on my list is Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. This was the first fantasy book I think that I read, and it really got me into the genre. I really love the whole idea of world building and like creating a whole new region with with a certain kind of people and a whole new time setting. I find it really interesting. So this one was about a girl called Mare. She lives in a society where people are divided by the color of their blood. They have silver bloods and red bloods. So the silver bloods are sort of the elite who have powers of their own, like metal controlling or mind controlling or fire controlling, things like that. And the red bloods don't. So they live in like the poorer area of the kingdom. And one day Mare finds out that she has powers of her own, despite being a red blood. So it's sort of just her journey, figuring out what to do and how to deal with it and how to control her powers and things like that. And I found it really interesting and I really loved it so much. The next book on my list is At the Edge of the Universe by Sean David Hutchinson. Sean David Hutchinson is actually one of my favorite authors because I really love the way he writes books and the themes he incorporates into the books. So this book is about this boy, Ozzy, who wakes up one day to find that his boyfriend Tommy has completely disappeared from reality. His own parents don't remember him, they don't recall ever having a son, there are no records of him, his friends don't remember him, there are no photos, and even Ozzy's diary entries don't have Tommy in it. It's almost as if the world has changed itself to suit this new reality where Tommy never existed. So it's sort of like a glitch in the matrix sort of thing, which I usually read on Reddit or listen to on YouTube. Usually it's just really short stories of minor glitches, but this one is what I would consider a major glitch, to have someone completely disappear, and it's really interesting to have a whole novel about it. And at the same time, Ozzy finds that the universe is shrinking. Every day he checks, and every day it shows him a smaller number. So his hypothesis is that the universe keeps shrinking and it takes Tommy with it. The next book is How I Live Now by Microsoft. Somebody actually suggested this book to me. It's about this girl who lives in America, but her father sends her to England to live with her cousins there, which she's initially not very happy with, but she ends up really enjoying their company and becoming good friends with them. And then suddenly a new war starts, essentially sort of like World War III. And it was really interesting to see how people would adapt to a war, what would happen, how people would deal with it. It's a dystopian setting and I really found it very interesting. The Diary of a Young Girl by Anne Frank. In case you guys don't know, this is a collection of journal entries by an actual girl during World War II. Anne Frank is a Jewish girl who goes into hiding with her family to escape the whole Nazi thing. And so these are all her entries about what happened. So she talks about the war, she talks about Hitler and Gandhi, she talks about her life hiding in the annex, how small it was and she had to share it with so many people, how they had to have the lights off, how they had to be very quiet, how they had to share food and how difficult it was, but at the same time she is a teenage girl. So she does talk about things like having crushes and having fights with her sister, and it's really eye-opening on how the war really affects people and how unnecessary it can be and how it affects innocent people who have done nothing wrong, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. It's about this boy Jacob who sees his grandfather die under mysterious circumstances, and he has always been told by his grandfather all these stories about the house that he used to live in, which as he grew older he sort of realized that these are just stories, until he finds letters from the lady who his grandfather would tell him about. So he goes to Europe with his father to find the lady and find out more about his grandfather. So then he finds Miss Peregrine and her home for peculiar children, and he meets these kids with all sorts of peculiarities, like some of them can control fire, one boy is invisible, some kids are really strong. This one girl has like a mouth on the back of her head, and it's really interesting how everything was written, how it came together, the whole storyline. It really just hooked me from beginning to end, and I really love this, and I'm so glad I picked it up. Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. It's about this assassin. She's 18 years old and she's the kingdom's greatest assassin, but she gets betrayed and sent to the salt mines as a slave. So in the beginning of the book, it starts with her being taken out of the salt mines because the prince wants to see her because he has a proposal. He offers her her freedom, but in exchange she has to be the king's assassin, and in order to become the assassin she has to go through a series of contests basically. And it was very interesting. I love the main character, which I know a lot of people don't. I found her very sassy, very smart, very funny, and I found the book very action-packed. I loved it so much. There were so many parts that made me sweat. There were parts that made my pulse race. I loved it so much. This book was absolutely amazing. One of my favorites, definitely. And when I say favorites, I mean like in the top 10 list, this would come really high up. The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. It's about this boy with Asperger's syndrome, and his neighbor's dog gets killed by being stabbed by a pitchfork, and his neighbor thinks that he killed him because of his condition, but he's certain that he didn't, so he wants to sort of solve the mystery of who did it, but his dad keeps saying he better not get involved because he doesn't want any suspicion being put on him. But he's determined to find out anyway, and the author, Mark Haddon, actually has experience with kids with like autism and Asperger's, so he really knows the kind of things they would do and the kind of things they would say and think, and it was really interesting to sort of be in the mind of a kid with Asperger's syndrome. The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen... I'm not sure how you pronounce that. I've never been sure how to pronounce that, but it's about this boy Charlie who starts his first year in high school. So he is the wallflower. He's a little bit introverted, and it's sort of his whole experience adapting and making new friends, and at the same time he is also dealing with the loss of his aunt. So it's really interesting to see his whole journey. It was funny, but it was also emotional, and when I first read it, I was 15 and I think I read it like 4 times in a row. I loved it so much. I'll Give You the Sun by Jenny Nelson. This book is about a pair of twins, Jude and Noah, and each chapter sort of alternates between each twin's point of view. Noah's when they're 13 and Jude's when they're 16. So in Noah's point of view when they're 13, Noah is very shy and introverted. He loves making art, and he ends up having a crush on a new boy who moves in next door, and they end up having a friendship, and it was very cute. And Jude is the complete opposite of her brother. She's very outgoing, she's adventurous, she's popular, and then in her point of view when they're 16, they've sort of switched roles. So Jude is she's become very shy and introverted, and Noah has become the popular jock who gets all the pretty girls, you know, that sort of thing. And you do know a few things that happened that led up to this change, but at the same time there is that gap between when they were 13 and 16, that there are some things that you don't know until like later on. And I think that was really well written, how everything just sort of added up. There are many artistic references about art. There are a lot of very nice poetic lines that I really enjoyed. I thought the book was beautifully written, and I think it has a very pretty cover. The final book on this list is All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but it's about these 2 children during World War II, a blind French girl who runs away to Paris with her father, and a German boy who's quite brilliant. He can fix all sorts of electronics like telephones and radios. So it sort of follows them throughout World War II from when they were kids to when they were teenagers, and it sort of just goes through the things that they did and how they dealt with the war, how the war affected them sort of. And I think it was very beautifully written. I love the story all the way, every single part of it. Yeah, and the thing about these World War II fictions is that they don't really sugarcoat it. It makes you feel how real this is, and it makes you feel like this is something that could have actually happened to people back then, because you don't really get actual stories of every single person. So this sort of gives you an idea of how the war affected people, how difficult it was for a lot of people, the struggles they went through, the hardships they went through. So it was quite emotional as well, and yeah, I loved it so much. So yeah, that was my list of my favorite books, and I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you do, let me know if you'd be interested in seeing any more of these kind of videos. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and thank you guys so much for watching. Bye!